To turn social insights into actionable insights, you need a very well-defined business question. So at its heart, you're using the online data of conversations of patients, caregivers, and HCPs to help inform your decision making and make data-driven decisions. So in order for it to be actionable, it has to be answering the questions and informing the way that you do business differently. So in that case, you need a really good understanding of not just the business question, but of the stakeholders who are involved in actioning that. So whether that's your medical communications team, whether that is a marketing team, you need to understand the needs of those different stakeholders and how this research will be used and put into practice. And from their perspective of what good looks like. So are they looking for to better understand the unmet needs of patients, or are they looking to inform content strategy? So understanding from them kind of all of their needs and how they're going to put it into practice is really important. And lastly, you need both the quantitative and the qualitative. Without that, it's just a bunch of numbers. So you need to take it beyond just the findings and answer the so what, why, and why this matters. And now here's my recommendations on how to move that forward and how that's going to enable these stakeholders to do business differently. So social listening is complementary to traditional primary research. So in your primary research where you may be interviewing patients or HCPs or putting together a focus group, you are understanding the opinions or experiences of patients, caregivers, and HCPs, but using social data. One of the big differences is that it's unsolicited. So people have gone online, have been on a forum, or are writing a patient blog and are sharing their opinions without a question being asked. It can make your traditional primary research faster and cheaper. So the questions that you're asking in those interviews or focus groups can already be more targeted and tailored based on the insights that you've identified through social listening. So one of the key questions is what research already exists? What information do you already have? Who are the stakeholders who are involved? How will they be using the data once you've gathered it? Does this align with other research or work streams or key dates or milestones? Is there a campaign coming up? Is there a World Awareness Day about a specific therapeutic area that you need to align with? What other data sources are you going to use in addition to social data? So for example, are you putting the social data in context of campaign data, call center data, web traffic, or search data? And what are the pharmacovigilance requirements that your organization has in terms of training or certification before embarking on social media research? Again, it goes back to your business question that you're working to answer and the stakeholders involved. So the frequency and relevancy of both the collecting the data, doing the analysis, and doing the reporting needs to be aligned with the timelines of the stakeholders who are going to action it. So for example, for a marketing campaign, this could be, if it's a new product launch, this could be a one-off project and report, or for ongoing campaigns, it could be something like quarterly. For identifying influencers and profiling them. So for example, if you're looking to form a KOL and KOI advisory board, this might be something you do annually versus, with greater frequency. And then if you're using this data or analysis alongside trackers that you may already be running, so social listening and social insights provides the so what and why to trackers, such as, your organization may have a CSR tracker running. So in this case, then your data collection and analysis might be daily or weekly. So one of the things when it comes to pharma and life sciences is that patients, caregivers, HCPs, they don't always mention the brand or product name. So when you're listening and using this data and trying to understand your competitors, it's not just on the brand name or the product or the molecule. It can be on the generic, and you want to cast your net wide to start with. So look at the entire therapeutic area or disease area discussion and see how people refer to the treatments in that case. So they may say my pills or my medicine. They're often, when they do mention the brand name, they are talking, they've been recently prescribed it, or they are in the process of switching medicines. So understanding your competitors isn't just about the branded conversations. It can be who has mind share, and it may not always be another pharma or life sciences company. It could be a patient advocacy group, or even an influential patient. So understanding the competitors, you need to understand who is important in why you're doing this work. So is it for competitive intelligence? Is it for marketing? And then, look at not just what the brands or competitors themselves say, because they probably already have their own profiles and channels and where they're sharing content, but what people say about them and what people say more broadly within the therapeutic area. And the other thing to understand is that there are different points in time where you may get a better understanding of your competitors. For example, around medical conferences or congresses, or around product launches, there's often more information that the competitors both put out themselves, and people talk about these organizations or brands or products. So one of the best ways to understand the patient experience is to look at the therapeutic area and map out the patient journey. So looking at how the different disease areas affect or impact patients, caregivers, and HCPs, all the way from first having symptoms to their diagnosis, through their treatment, and hopefully through their recovery, and then focus on the unmet needs of these different stakeholders or audiences within the different phases of the journey. So at the diagnosis stage, how is that diagnostic process for patients, caregivers, HCPs? What are the unmet needs once they initiate in the treatment phase? So is there opportunity there to impact or improve the patient experience through what your product or new product could be delivering, and speak to those needs when developing or launching or marketing your product. So you can use social intelligence to innovate and expand by listening to the different audiences and segments in the first place. So that's, you could be listening to different HCPs or different patients within a disease area to understand what their unmet needs are, or where there's opportunities for new types of treatments, new modes of delivery of treatments or therapies. And you can also use social intelligence to grow and expand by looking and listening to what different influencers are saying and monitoring trends that are emerging in different markets. It's not just located in one market. You can use social listening to listen, across the world. So innovation and ideas and a better understanding of these trends or needs can expand across multiple markets. You can use social listening across the entire pharma life cycle, all the way from when a product is in clinical trials, understanding the needs of the patient community, concerns that caregivers may have, all the way through product launch and going off patent. So at expiry, when the pharmaceutical companies no longer want to invest so heavily in marketing. They can be more strategic by identifying influential HCPs online and understanding and speaking to the needs or interests of those and getting that awareness out there without necessarily spending as much time in other marketing endeavors. So it can really be used all across the entire life cycle.